Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of Boss Talks. And I'm so excited to be able to introduce once again my amazing friend and business partner, and we're the dynamic duo, I guess now, of Boss Talks, Kristine Drummond. And before we get started, look, guys, I really just wanted to let you know why we do this. Like, we're both hoping that something we say in this will create some change in your mind so you can be the boss of your own life, so you can really be the CEO of your own destiny, and you can have everything you want in your life, and you really can. And it's funny that I bring this up because today's topic is attracting things into your life, like attracting the things you want into your life. And Kristine's got a amazing story about this, about her journey. Mine's a little bit different, but hey, Kristine, how do we attract things into our life that we want?
It's a great question, and thank you for having me on again, and thank you for listening to this podcast. For me, if I go back nearly 8 years ago, I'd never done any self-development in my life, and I was at this stage where I was feeling really lost. I'd lost my independence. I was feeling like, I don't know, I felt really alone, and I knew there was something more for me out there, but I couldn't just figure out what it was. I knew what I wanted in life. Well, kind of, I knew what I wanted. I didn't want to be broke. That was the first thing. I wanted to be able to eat out more whenever I wanted and not live on 2-minute noodles and mashed potato. But a friend of mine gave me this book, Joel, and the book was Law of Attraction. And it's a very thick book. And if you haven't read it, I really recommend it, guys, because it changed my perspective on everything. And it was so thought-provoking, and it opened my mind up to so many new possibilities. Like, I started capturing my thoughts in a different way. I started seeing things in a new light. I became more open. I became more accepting. And I think I became a kinder person from that book as well. And if you have read The Law of Attraction, I highly recommend you go back and read it again, because what you put out to the universe is what you get back. Like, honestly, everything comes back to your thoughts. So if you want to attract more good things in your life, you have to start focusing more on the good things. I mean, let's sort of go to an example where, one of your friends, and we've all got that friend that rings, and you look at their name on the phone, you're like, should I answer it? I don't know. I know that it's just going to be drama and negativity, and it's going to suck the energy out of me. And then all of a sudden you pick up the phone and you get off that phone call and you are just exhausted. That person has sucked every bit of oxygen from you, and they're just drama. Drama just follows them around, and that type of person will not change, because they're not willing to change their thoughts. They're not willing to look at the positive side of things, I guess. So I really recommend reading a book like Law of Attraction, or The Secret is another one that's really cool, or The Magic, Coming from a Place of Gratitude. But these books, Joel, really open your mind up and get you to focus on the good thing. And my mum, from a very young age, my mum always said to me, Kristine, there's the good side to everybody. Don't, always look for the good in people. And I've done that my whole life. And everyone does have a good side. They've got some good trait about them, And for me, I've been able, I look at life differently to a lot of people, and I have a lot of people come to me and they choose to focus on people or other things that I don't choose to focus on. So I don't see what a lot of other people see, and that's just the perspective, and that's just the way that I choose to live my life. And I manifest a lot of good things in my life. I don't let life happen to me. I let life happen for me, and it's just a switch in mindset. And that book, honestly, is the first place I would start if you want to start manifesting more of the stuff into your life that you want. But what about you, mate? What books have you read that have absolutely changed your thought process around this kind of stuff? Where did you start when you wanted to start manifesting stuff in your world?
Look, I actually don't know where I started, but one that's had humongous influence on me recently, it's come from it's been a bit of a journey actually. it started like a couple of years ago when I was doing some my NLP training, and I was ignoring one section of my life, and that was the spiritual side of my life. And then you're doing a process, and your highest words, like your highest truth comes out, and like the word that came out was spiritual. And I couldn't wait to, like, because I was a guy and I was like action, and I was like success, and I can have the spirituality later. And then that came out, and I was like, my goodness, like what? I couldn't wait to open my eyes so I could turn to the trainer and say, what the hell was that? And I said that, and they said, I don't know, you said it, maybe you should look into it. And I'm like, that's not an answer. Like, no one would tell me. So I guess that was one part of it. But, you know, I read a lot of books like The Science of Getting Rich, and that's Wallace D. Wattles. And you listen to that, like mind, body, spirit, and only focusing on what you want. Always hold what you want in your mind, you know. And then there's Dr. Joe Dispenza, like the go to the void where there's no self, meditate, mind, body, you know, focus on what you want to create the life that you want. And so there's all that sort of stuff. And then, you know, even as hardcore as the 10X rule is, no negativity allowed. Don't focus on negativity. Focus on what you want. Focus on the goal. Like it's a common thread for all success. So it's showed up everywhere, and I guess you just got to be willing to see it. So yeah, that's how I've done it. And like, I guess, yeah, that's where I found it. So you say that you always see the good in people. Like, there's going to be people listening to the podcast that said, yeah, but my reptilian brain that's looking for everything that's wrong, that's keeping me safe, is telling me that surely, Kristine, that's burnt you in the past by only seeing that part. And like, has it burnt you, and how did you get past that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always challenges, and there's always those people that take advantage of, I guess, your kindness and your positivity. And I don't know, I have been burnt, but it hasn't held me back. You know, I've just taken the lesson, and it comes down to self-worth and who I spend time with. You know, my peer group is very important to me, and your peer group is different to, you know, your friends and family. Your peer group are the people that you choose to hang out with, the people that either have the lifestyle you want, or that are on the same journey or the same page as you. That's your peer group. They're the people that have got your back. They're the people that are cheering you on, that are supporting you, that are raising you up, that are, you know, mentoring you. You know, and I've got a really cool peer group, and I don't allow people into that peer group that will treat me less than I want to be treated, if that makes sense. So I guess that's how I've learnt from it. I did a tour a couple of years ago, Joel, and this is a little bit tangent, but I did a tour around the country about 2 or 3 years ago, and it really surprised me how many people we spoke to. And I'll give you the percentage, but how many people we spoke to and we asked them, what are you working towards? What are your goals? And the percentage of people that could give us an answer to that question, this is regional New South Wales, by the way, was zero. Not one person out there could give us an answer to what they were working towards. One girl said, well, I'm getting married next October. And that was her only goal. That was the only person that we kind of got half a goal out of. But it really shocks me to see that so many people have no idea where they're going in life. They've got no idea what they want. They've never even sat down in a quiet space and thought about it, you know, and they've never tapped back into that free spirit, that inner child, and asked themselves, well, what did I want as a kid? What was I really excited about? What did I want to grow up and, you know, have? You know, for me, I always wanted a house, like double story, triple story, I don't care, that had a slide that, you know, down the stairs. So this and I will have it one day. I know that I'm going to have it. You know, I've always wanted bunk beds, and I've been able to sleep in bunk beds. I bought my kids bunk beds, and I get to sleep in that quite often. You know, what are some things that growing up you wanted in your life that maybe you've forgotten about, that you can kind of go, well, I'd love to manifest that kind of stuff into my life. I'd love to do that. But as an adult, we just take life too seriously, and we kind of think, oh, that's not going to happen, or we brush it aside because we don't think it's important. So yeah, I know that's a bit of a tangent that I've gone on, but it really surprises me, mate, how many people don't know what they want in life.
Absolutely. And when I went over to train with Grant Cardone at a business boot camp, one of the things he got us to do is, as a challenge, is to go out in between days, and you literally had to walk up to people and say, hey, how much did you earn last year? And that was like scary, because like I'm going to like people in America, I'm thinking I'm probably going to get shot here. Like, sorry, America, you're listening, but I was like, yeah, like, and the looks I got, I actually did think I was going to get punched. But the truth is, like, that was only part of the question. It was to teach us to ask the hard questions. Used to really just calling people out and just asking, reminding them, giving them a shake. But the second question was, what's your plan to increase that next year? And we got 0%. There was no one thinking how they were going. They had no plan to increase their wealth, no in abundance and happiness. And you know, I know people that that have built businesses by simply asking this, like, have you must be happy here? When they get a no, they say, well, you'd have a plan to be happy, don't you? And they say no, and they say, would you like one? Like, people, like, they're just going through their life and they're not bringing anything into their life because they just think that that's how life is. And it's just not good enough. And I don't know, I did a lot of things, like years ago. I stopped watching the news. I don't read the paper. I don't do any of that stuff. And I really got to thank Tim Ferriss for that. I read his book and thought, what's the worst that could happen? You know, it doesn't. Yeah. So I've done that. And, yeah, and I guess the other thing I really liked is, like, when you said that you took the lesson, because anything negative in your life is just a lesson that you got an opportunity to learn, and it's a signpost that something needs to change. So fantastic, like, growing goals, grand dream goals. They're not they don't mean big goals. They don't have to be big. They just have to be like the ones that are going to give you the most enjoyment to experience. So you could have said, I want $100 million, but you wanted a slippery dip in your house. Because that would, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, how cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I often check in with my goals all the time, you know, and sometimes the goalposts move, you know, sometimes my mind changes, and that's okay. It's okay for you to change your mind. And one goal that I've had since I was a little girl is I've always wanted a red convertible sports car. And for my 21st, my parents, as a joke, actually bought me a little Matchbox car, and I still have it to this day. Nice. And it's a red convertible. You know? And I finally started shopping around and going, okay, I found the one that I want now. And for my 40th, which will be in 2020, you know, I will look at getting that car, because it's not about the car, but it's about the experience of driving the car. It's about the joy and the fulfillment that car is going to bring me, you know. And it's not that I'm materialistic about cars or anything. It's just been a grand dream goal of mine from such a young age. And it's just something that I know that when I sit in that seat, when I've got the roof down, when I'm cruising down the Gold Coast highway, down the beach road, you know, and I'm sitting in that car, I'm just going to feel something, you know, and that's what I'm going for. And I think that's what people are missing out on. They've just stopped dreaming, Joel. Yeah. And I hope that through this podcast, I'm starting to get a little bit emotional about it, because it makes me really sad, the amount of people out there that I just see that have just given up. They're in their 40s and they think it's too late, or they're in their 50s and they think it's too late, or older, and life's just warming up, baby. You know, I'm approaching 40, and I know you are as well, and it's just the beginning. Like, I can't wait to sink my teeth into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going hardcore, like, because I know I'm living to 120, so I haven't even peaked yet. So I'm all in. But I just want to, I'm going to throw a really, really dangerous question at you, Kristine. Like, say you want this car, and I already know the answer, but I think it's going to be a great lesson for the people that maybe haven't learnt this yet. If you had to give that car back at some stage, would it affect your happiness? Would it affect your long-term happiness?
Not at all.
Yeah. That's how you know you're ready for that.
Not at all.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
So we want this to be a masterclass of, like, we don't want us to have a conversation. We want to give people some tips on how to actually kick more ass in their life and, you know, be a boss. It can't just be boss talk. It's going to be boss strategy as well. So run me through some stuff. Like, if I want to bring some stuff into my life, what are some things that you can suggest? Like, let's run through some of our best tips.
Absolutely, mate. So the first thing is you have to write it down. Like, find out what it is you want. Write down. It doesn't matter how crazy your goals seem. Put them down on paper. You know, like you have to do that. And I love vision boards. I love grabbing a vision board, and I'm looking at mine now. And like throughout the year, every time I achieve something on that vision board, I put it in a jar, take it off the vision board, put it in the jar. So when December 31st rolls around, I open the jar and I look at all the things that I've ticked off and achieved throughout the year. And that's so empowering. It makes you so inspired. And then you're like, oh, what am I going to put on next year's vision board, you know? And if it's in front of you, like, your subconscious mind loves pictures, you know, that's the way it communicates. So the more that you can visually see what it is you want, and I'll tell you how powerful this visualization process is, and you know, and tying it in with gratitude as well. Like, I've had this house on my vision board for a lot of years, and it's an old Queensland. It's got a balcony all around, you know, white, beautiful house. It's been on my vision board, and we've always wanted one along the Gold Coast. And I was saying to my partner, Tom, where are we going to find it? Where are we going to find a space to build this house? Well, 2 years ago, someone bought a block of units, they knocked them down, and they built this old Queenslander that matches the picture that's on my vision board. And I often go and sit outside that house, and I'm not ready to buy it yet, but I'm already prepping. I've already seen myself in it. I've seen my family in it. My kids, I take the whole family down to that house quite often. We visualize ourselves sitting on the balcony, friends coming around shooting hoops in the basketball ring, you know, and I'm often down there sitting out front, you know, just breathing and manifesting and coming from gratitude. I don't know how many times I've cried over myself and thanking the universe for building me that house. And it, you know, it's already mine. It's just a matter of time now before that event catches up to me, before I own that house. You know, it's a 10-year plan. And, you know, that's the type of thing that is so powerful. That's when you can turn these big grand dream goals into reality. And I think sometimes you do have to come from gratitude, not pseudo gratitude, like I'm grateful for my legs and I'm grateful for my family, but future gratitude, you know, that real deep gratitude to go, you know what, this event hasn't occurred yet. And I'll give you an example. Conor McGregor, you know, when Conor McGregor won his big world title belt, and the interviewer was interviewing and said, mate, you must be, you know, so surprised or so happy. And he goes, you know what? I knew it was going to happen. It all just feels so familiar to me, because he lived and breathed it every single day. And I know Keurig Ashley, who trained, helped train the volleyballers, the Australian gold medalists, you know, for 2 years before they became the gold medalists, they told everyone that they were the 2000 Olympic gold medalists, you know, in the volleyball, and they'd never beaten the Brazilian team. And that's who they came up against. But it's that power of the mind. It's that manifestation. It's attracting in what you vibrate out to the universe is what comes back in. So, you know, super, super powerful stuff. So definitely write your goals down, do your vision boards, because your subconscious mind communicates with pictures. And I listen to an abundance meditation most nights. I love, you know, the Abraham Hicks. I love listening to theirs. It's a 15-minute abundance meditation. Look it up on YouTube. And it's just nice to just listen to and fall asleep to most nights. But there's lots of little things, mate. When I wanted to increase my check, I used to carry around a blank check from the universe. I'd fill it in. I'd write it out to myself, and I'd put $4,000 on there because that's what the check I wanted to be making from my business. And I'd carry it around, and every time I opened my wallet, I would see this check in there from the universe. And eventually I hit that $4,000 check. So then it went to, double, 8,000. Then it went to 10,000, went to 20,000, and I'm carrying around this check all the time. And every time you open your wallet, it's like the universe and your subconscious mind working together to make that happen, and the more that you write down your goals and you put in place the action to actually make it happen, the more that you're going to manifest these goals into your life, if that makes sense.
Makes a ton of sense. And basically when you do the gratitude, what's always worked for me is like being really grateful. Like, so let's just use money as an example. Like, I've been really grateful for money, and I close my eyes and I visualize the money, and I'm so grateful for it because it's already in my account. I can spend it. I can do all this stuff with it. And then when you open your eyes and your conscious mind and your mind wakes up that you don't have it, it goes, well, it should be here. And then you just sort of you just go do stuff like that gets the money, and then the money just shows up. Like, you go take the appropriate actions, and it's not hard. It's not forced anymore. It's like you just sort of get drawn to it, and it happens. It comes through, and sometimes it's out of the blue kind of money, but sometimes it's like, okay, well, now I'm at peace with having to go and sell more product or go serve more people, or, whatever it is that you do in your business or whatever you do in your life. So there's a thing. And then another thing that which really stamped home that this stuff is so real was that Andy Frisella, who's like first form guy, he's like hardcore entrepreneur as you can be, like swears like Gary Vee and some, like just hardcore, loves his cars, loves all that sort of stuff, loves his dogs, but a really great person. He said, this law of attraction stuff's real. And he said, when you get really good at it, you have to be really careful where your mind goes, because if you're really great at attracting things into your life and you have a bad period of mindset, you'll bring that in real quick too. So you've got to be really mindful when you get the knack for creation in your life, that you keep your head on track. And I think that really is why Grant Cardone says no negativity allowed. Treat it like the plague, like get rid of it. And Tony Robbins is like beautiful state and all that sort of stuff. Like, I really believe in it, because once you get great at it and you ask for stuff and you visualize it and you believe it's there and you're gracious for it, got gratitude, you better be careful, because it can bring some nasty stuff in too. And really, so like there is the dark side of it. Have you ever found that?
Oh, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. There's been a few times where you get in this funk and you're just like, I know better than this. I've done all self-development. What is going on? And you just have to sit in. You just have to ask the universe, what is going on? Why do I feel like this? And you do have to capture yourself. It also happens too when you hang around people that play a little bit smaller or vibrate at that lower level. You've got to be really careful that you don't sink into that vibration, into that frequency. Yeah. And sometimes when you come away, and a lot of it's family and friends, and you don't want to get rid of them, but you just need to space yourself, but also make sure you recover from hanging around them, whether it's a day, a phone call, whatever. Make sure you're putting something back in that is going to light you up again. And one of the things that I also wanted to add, Joel, as well, that holds a lot of people back in life is clutter. And not just clutter in the mind, but clutter in the home, clutter in the office. When I come home, if the house is a mess, I can't think properly. It's got to be clean. There's a book out there called, I think it's the Magic Art of Tidying. If you guys haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It taught me how to declutter my clothes drawers. And I know this sounds funny, and why am I saying this in how to manifest things into your life? But if you're feeling cluttered, it adds to the stress. It adds to the weight on your shoulders, and it's very hard to think clearly when all this chatter and clutter is happening in your life. So if you're one of those people that feels like they need to declutter, I really highly recommend that you go and read that book, and that's going to allow you to feel a lot freer. You're going to be clearer in the mind, and you're going to be able to focus more on the things that you actually want to focus on, rather than all the other stuff that are bringing in negativity and things like that. So just touching on what we spoke about before, writing the goals down, doing the vision board, listening to abundance meditations. I'm a big fan of like I am statements and positive affirmation. And something else that I learnt as well, a lot of people want to have more money in life, and there's a few little key things that you can do to be able to manifest that as well. And one simple trick that I learnt is simply turning your desk around in your house so that your back isn't towards the door. If your back is towards the door, it kind of closes everything off. It closes the universe off, and it doesn't allow abundance in. So just moving your desk out from the wall and putting your chair on the other side so that you're facing the door, the window, just opens everything up. It opens the mind up, it opens the universe up, and allows abundance to flow more freely in. And I really want to share with you how quickly this abundance stuff works. So I read Law of Attraction. I started listening to the abundance meditation, and kid you not, I reckon it was probably within the first 2 months of me doing this stuff, this check arrived in the mail, Joel, and it was 4 years old. They'd been chasing me for 4 years to give me this check. It was like a check from like NRMA or something like that. I'd moved, states a few times, and this check just arrived for a couple of $100. And I was like, holy smokes, like this is insane, And then it just little things like that kept happening. Like people started shouting me lunch, people started shouting me dinners, people started shouting me things. And then all of a sudden I saved money on this, or I went into HCF or the HCF actually rang us and said, I think you're paying too much on your policy. I'm going to reduce that down for you. Then Telstra rings me and says, you're paying too much on your plan. I'm going to reduce that down for you. So all this is being like, I'm not making the phone calls. They're ringing me, because I've been putting out, vibrating at a different frequency. So of course I'm going to attract more of this stuff in. And I love how that works. It's, money flows to me in predictable and unpredictable ways. And that's one of my mantras that I say to myself. It's in my mission statement. And I love that about the universe, and I want to help other people have that as well. And when you can unemotionally attach yourself from money as well, and from bills, like when a bill rocks in, Joel, I'm grateful for that bill. I'm saying thank you, universe, for this bill, because I know the money's there to pay it. I don't go into, oh my God, where am I going to get the money from? It's a place of gratitude, guys. And when you can come from a place of gratitude when these bills rock in, it takes so much stress out of your life. It's insane. And honestly, you just live a freer, more inspired life, I guess, which is what we all want, isn't it?
100%. And like, honestly, if you have any negative emotion from handing money over, there's actually science behind it. Like when you hand money across, it goes across the void, and the void is how you create. And if you have a negative charge on it, you're actually telling the void and the universe that you don't like money, and it won't send you anymore. So be grateful when you're handing money over for personal development. Be grateful when you're handing money over for things, because there's so much more coming your way. Like it's like the ocean. You could go and take 1 million liters out of the ocean and no one would even know. And it's the same with the economy. You can do the same. You just got to, I know there's people on here going, oh, it's easy for you guys. You guys have got money and you've made it and all that. But we weren't always like this. I wasn't like born with this attitude. We've all had fun where we're broke. Not that fun. So yeah, it's massive. So like, I guess I've never heard the desk one. That's really interesting to me. And I just thought, well, actually at home, my desk like gets to see the ocean. So I'm really lucky. But yeah, like I actually got that place because Grant Cardone said, like, every time you have a setback, go and look at the ocean, because then you really see that there's nothing but abundance out there. And I was like, well, hey, I'm modeling guys like that. Even if I was like 1% of as wealthy as him and as abundant as him, that'd be great. But I guess my tips, and like, I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. Like, something that's bringing a lot of abundance into my life is exercise. Like, I sort of, when I was creating a lot of wealth, exercise went out the window. It's like a little bit like, so I was doing it, but not to the level that I'm doing it now. Like, I'm really hardcore on it now because I'm going to be excellent in all areas of my life, not just, wealth and spirit or whatever I'm doing, like I want to up my game there, which is really leads me on to the next one, which is my peer group. It's because I'm hanging out with people that are really fit, and I don't want to be the fat guy in the room. And I'm not fat, but compared to some of the people that are out there like Wolverine, they look like Wolverine, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm not standing next to you looking like, so I'm running and I'm hitting, I'm making sure every day I sharpen. That's bringing so peer group and exercise are bringing this energy to me. And I've never felt in years this unstoppable because of those two things. So like, I've always had a pretty good peer group and it keeps getting better. But the exercise has really taken me to another level lately. So what do you think about that? What do you think about exercise?
Yeah. Oh, mate, there's a lot of science behind it. Actually, if you go and Google this stuff, there's so much science about it. If you hang around people who are fit, you're going to be fit. If you hang around people that are couch potatoes, you're likely to be a couch potato. You know what I mean? So it's so important to align yourself with people who are living the lifestyle that you want to live. And exercise, oh my goodness, it's so important. And it doesn't have to be like high intensity physical stuff. You don't have to go and run a marathon or anything like that. It's just about getting out in the fresh air. It's about getting out and moving your body in a way that's going to unlock the endorphins that are going to kick in. And when you feel good in your body, you do good. When you feel energized and strong in the body, you feel strong in the mind and energized in the mind. So exercise is hands down like one of the most important things I feel to attract things into your life, because I know that when I run, I feel unstoppable in all aspects of my life. It just puts me in this power state, and I know so many other people that feel the same. And it's not so much that I love the running, it's the feeling that it gives me. That's what I love. And I don't know, I just have my best thoughts when I'm out hitting the pavement. That's when I have some of my biggest brainstorming moments, and it's such a stress reliever as well, and sometimes we get so caught up in life that we forget to live in the moment. We forget to breathe, we forget to run or walk or stroll on the beach or whatever it is. So I 100% agree with that. Exercise is definitely up there for manifesting what you want in your life and for attracting abundance in absolutely.
Yeah, that word you use, power state, like that's exactly how I'm feeling. And like, it was really just came from a challenge that I got from my coach, and he did some work with me, and then he just challenged me to run until May 14 every day. And I know I'm going to run way past that because I'm addicted to it again. I'm actually going for several in the damn heat out here in Adelaide. So that's always interesting. But yeah, I've always been crazy like that. But look, I guess the last ones, like, we've been through a few and they're really amazing. But for me, it's like really just do having. Like, you've got to be the person today that does the action to have the results. Like, so many people are out there are like, I want to do the actions to have the results so I can be the person. And that's not showing gratitude. That's not trusting. And that's just like, that's violating the laws of getting what you want, and, like, that's why diets don't work, because you think you do the diet so you can have the body so you can be the healthy person. Well, in my mind, I was already like 10 kilos lighter before I started running because I was that guy now. And that guy goes and runs every day. But if I was running, like doing the action to lose the weight so I could be fit, well, I'd still have an unhealthy or a less healthy mindset, and I'd just find a way to sabotage myself. that's how not to bring things in life. So be, do, have, and like I've done the same thing for my health and wellness business. Like I got goals there, and I already just like the gold medalist. I introduced myself as that rank, that like, and I just am that, and I felt a bit. I guess I feel a bit funny sometimes saying it, but I believe it because I don't know the day, but I know it's coming, and I know it's already happened. So that's how I am. So I'm being that guy now, and then I just expect it to happen. Like something really cool. I saw one of my friends. He got the chance to go over to Vegas and speak in front of 12,000 people. He put a post up, and he's like, "Hey, I got to do this thing. I'm like going to talk in front of 12,000 people," and I was like, "Yeah, I expect it." And it wasn't him being a big note. It was him like he'd seen it. He'd been visualizing it. He knew it was going to happen. Like I don't know, feeling like, am I making sense? Does this sound? That's how I do it.
Absolutely, mate. And I think you've hit it on the head, like be, do, have. But the thing is that people are probably listening to this thinking, but I don't know what I want to be. I don't know what I want to do or what I want to have. So you've got to find a quiet place. You've got to find an inspiring space to go and figure it out. And it's not something that will pop in your head straight away sometimes. And as I said in the beginning, the goalpost will change now and then. You'll change your mind, and that's okay. Like if you wrote a goal down and now you don't want that goal, it's okay to move it and change it and attract other things into your life. So I love the Be Do Have exercise. It's amazing. If you Google Be Do Have, there's lots of downloadable templates on it. You can, or just write 3 columns in your book, Be Do Have, and work out what it is that you actually want to be. But you put it in the right order there too, mate. Like a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people, when I chose this career that I'm in now, I saw a lot of people speak in the beginning. I'm like, oh my God, like, I wish I could speak like that, you know? So I became the person that I wanted to be. I became that speaker, and then I got to work doing the activity, and then I was able to have what those speakers had. You know what I mean? So you have to become the person first, I really feel, and a lot of people do it backwards. So I really hope that this has made sense to our listeners, and if you need help with this, like, reach out. We're definitely here to help people figure this stuff out, because it's not easy, and it's really hard to do on your own as well. You know, it's nice to bounce ideas off people, and there are a lot of coaches and people out there that can help, but you want to really get into a quiet space. That's what I highly recommend. A space where, you can think clearly, where there's no one interrupting you, there's no distractions. Maybe you put on some of your favorite songs, and you just sit down and you just nut some of this stuff out. What do you really want in life? What's going to bring you joy? What's going to bring you fulfillment? What can you add back in from childhood that maybe you've let go of, that will increase your happiness or bring you the joy that you felt as a child as well. So hopefully that what we've spoken about helps someone out there.
Oh, it's going to. And look, guys, the last one that I want to go through is, like, honestly, like, just try everything. Just because you choose it now, it doesn't mean you got to keep it forever. And honestly, if you want to bring things into your life, all these awesome things that we've said here are really, really great, and they're all definitely part of it. But no one, I'll fix my language, and no one has ever achieved anything without taking action. If you don't take the action, you will not get the result. If I don't run, I'm not going to get healthier. If Kristine doesn't, do her vision board, she's never going to, get, you know what I'm saying? Like, guys, take the action. If the action's to reach out to people or serve people or create a business or build your house or go buy the house or go for the better job or ask that awesome person out, it's only going to come to you if you take the action. There's just no other way around it. So, guys, I hope this has been helpful. Kristine, you can take us home.
I love it, mate. And I just really want to let people know that just check in with yourself. What frequency are you vibrating at the moment? What gear are you operating at? Are you stuck in first, or are you charging ahead in fifth gear? Like, only you get to decide your destiny in this life, and we get one shot at life in this physical form. And don't you want it to be full of abundance and success and health and happiness and love and laughter and fun and adventure? I know that's definitely what I want in my life. And I want to give you permission to, even though it's scary, I want to give you permission to change the status quo, to change the belief system, to change what was handed down. Maybe you're the first generation to break that poor man lineage, and take a different route, take a different destiny for you, for your kids, for your family, and teach them different lessons. We need to start challenging, I suppose, what we're taught out there. And for you to manifest a different life, for you to manifest a different future, as Joel said, you need to take the necessary action. And you may not know all the steps, guys, but as long as you know what you want, then take that first step and you can't go wrong. And and we've given you a lot of strategies today on how to start manifesting more of the things you want in your life. And I hope you found this really, really useful. And I know that I have, and I can't wait to re-listen to it.
Thank you, Kristine. It's always a pleasure. And look, guys, so as far as we know, you only get one shot, so you might as well take that shot like a boss. Bye.